called Mare Nostrum, the situation of migration flows in Italy. Uh, we are part of the HeARTmony Project. My name is Marco. I'm the project coordinator of this project funded by the European Union. So welcome everyone, first of all, and let's start with the menu we have for today. So I ask the direction to give me the presentation. Okay. Yes, so let's start with the program. So today we have the following menu. So first of all, I will introduce you again the project HeARTmony. Then we will listen to the experience of Cooperativa Foco, our partner in this project for today, which is a social enterprise working in the field of inclusion of migrants and refugees in Sicily. And so then we will have the definition of a migrant in Italy, which is a very important point to be discussed. So refugee, minor or economic migrant, this makes quite a difference in the definition. Then a specific aspect we have here is the integration path of unaccompanied foreign minors according to FOCO. The social enterprise is particularly dedicated to the inclusion of minor age people, which is a relevant vulnerable group in this global challenge of migration flows. Then, according to what they will say to us, they will respond as well to our questions and answer. In the end, we will have some interviews with the participants of the project HeARTmony, the Italian participant who joined the project, the workshop, and the training session. And then we will have the conclusions and the invitation for you to join the next session we will have in February. Okay. So let's start. Let's start and go. You can move forward to the next one. Okay, before starting, some rules for the participation. So please keep your microphone in mute mode, except in the session where we will have a question and answer. You can use the chat to send any questions or comment you prefer. We ask you to keep your camera on to see you, except in the case you have very low connection. And the session will be in English. At the same time, it's possible to join the live translation in Italian. You have just to click on the globe here in the Zoom icons, the one called interpretation or interpretariato in Italian, and then you can choose the channel for the Italian translation. And I would like to thank Donna for her role for this translation, live translation. Okay. As you have noticed, we have already started to record the session, so you should already have confirmed your participation and allow to be recorded. This because we will create a toolkit and educational resources collecting all these webinars. And then afterward, you can eventually ask us the link with the video registration of the session. Okay, so some rules before starting. Then let's go on with the presentation of the project. So next slide. Here you have a recap of the partnership of this project. Associazione Humanity is the applicant organization from Italy. Then we have Gianrosso, social enterprise experience in the music. Dance Lab, which is another association NGO working in the field of dance inclusion. And then Fundación Giordani from Spain is committed as well in intercultural dialogue and social inclusion, like Humanità Nouvelle. Caritas Lebanon, Caritas Egypt, and Caritas Banja Luka from Bosnia and Herzegovina. As you can see just from this picture of the partnership, you will see that we will have countries facing the borders of Mediterranean Sea, and also all these countries are complementary in facing this challenge of migration flows, because someone are oriented to the Western Mediterranean route, the Central Mediterranean route, and the Eastern or Balkan route. Okay, so let's go on with the next slide. Okay, so before starting, please keep in mind that this webinar about this project is inserted in a social campaign that we are promoting as a Humanity, and especially the youth department, Youth for a United World of Humanity, which is called Embrace Humanity and Spark Change. And so the objective of the campaign is to sensitize young people to social commitment. And we have seen in our experience that arts could become a very valuable tool to promote social inclusion. No? And so here we have a video spot, 1 minute and something, to introduce you this campaign. Okay, so have a look at it. Audio of the video is low. Okay. Okay. So you've seen this campaign as 3 keywords, which are look, touch, and change. No, so I think that also our speakers today could tell us how they started to be committed in this field of social inclusion of refugees, and I think they have all experienced these 3 words for sure. And so now let's go on, just starting to introduce you this big challenge of migration flows, no? Which is not relevant only for the Mediterranean Sea, as we are talking today, but it's a worldwide challenge. So if can we have the next slide after the video? Okay, perfect. Okay, just some introduction related to the project, no, HeARTmony, to explain you better how does it work, no? So first of all, we have these 3 keywords which are included in the title, no? The first one is heart, because we are working a lot in promoting empathy and solidarity of young people, which is the first feeling that push you then to the social commitment, no? And listening, learning from the experience of refugees. Then the second key word is hearts, because we have seen that creativity, talent, and in general the artistic field is a universal language that could help us to go beyond all the borders. And moreover, uh, through the commitment of young people in the art field, um, we would like to let them express their talents, no? Be aware of their capacities. And then the last word is harmony, which means, which has two main definitions. On the one side, it's the personal, internal harmony, no, in the personal development of everyone. And the second one is the collective, humanitarian well-being. So the social inclusion of refugees means having a society more inclusive, ready to include diversity, etc. So where all the parts are working together. So this is the meaning of the title. Then one specific thing we have here is we call it not by bread alone approach. What does it mean? That basically in several projects oriented to refugees and migrants, there is a strong focus on humanitarian aid. The first emergency, the first urgency, related to their situation. So provide food, accommodation, etc. But what we have seen working with our partners is that there is a lot of work missing here, which is the work focused on the well-being of refugees, no? And we have seen that most of them, a lot of them, unfortunately, due to the condition, had to stop the possibility to express their capacity, their talents. They are often parked somewhere for a long time without, yes, experiencing, for instance, this artistical dimension, which is very important dimension for human development, especially from the countries of origin of these migrants and talents. Arts, dance, music are really important components of the culture, no? So this is the concept. And then, as I mentioned already, um, we are we have created this partnership, this consortium of partners to properly face the global challenge of migration flows, because just having one perspective here is not enough, no? So as you see here, we have countries of short transit, long-term staying of refugees and migrants or destination. We have different nationalities, so Sub-Saharan Africa, Northern Africa, Syria, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Latin America, and unfortunately right now also Ukraine, which was not foreseen at the beginning of the project. Okay, so next slide. So what are the objectives of this project? Now we have three main ones. No? First one is reinforcing people capacities to deliver arts workshop for young refugees. No? So we are empowering young people to become actors, positive actors of social change. They will learn how to prepare, organize, deliver, evaluate an artistical workshop for young refugees. They will cooperate with social enterprise and our partners to do this. Okay, and in this sense, this will contribute as well to their personal development. And at the end of this session, we will listen to two experiences of two young people who have joined this workshop. The second objective is the objective of this specific series of webinar. So raise the awareness about the international dimension of migration flows. I don't have to add other thing about this, it's clear. And then the third aspect is the reinforced networking and cooperation among partner organizations, because thanks to this project, we are learning more on how to evaluate our projects, how to ensure sustainability, how to be more effective in dealing with these issues. Okay, and so let's go to the next one. See, just a quick outlook about the situation right now in 2023. I don't want to describe this in detail too much, but the important thing to be mentioned is that we have seen an increase, relevant increase of migrants and refugees until 2022, with more than 6 million new permanent migrants. No, this is a report from OECD. And then we have to add, as I mentioned, also the situation of Ukrainian people. Then in the next slide, here again, we have some number from the UNHCR, the agency dedicated for migration for the United Nations. So we talk about 110 million people displaced worldwide. And this is the double number compared to 2013. So in 10 years, there's been a 100% increase. And this is really a critical number. Then there are 35.3 million refugees displaced across the borders. Considering this, 76% live in low and middle income countries, because sometimes, especially in Europe, there is the idea that we are facing an invasion, but it should be clear, it should be remembered that the highest percentage of refugees and migrants stays in middle income countries. Then there is the number of 62.5 million internally displaced within their countries, and 5.4 asylum seekers. And we will learn more today as well about the definition of these categories of refugees, migrants, displaced, and asylum seekers. Okay. Okay, next one. Okay, so I think now it's time, and I'm really happy to introduce our speakers for today. On one side, we have Noemi, who is working as project designer for Cooperativa Foco. And then we have Alessandro Brullo, working as well in the Cooperativa Foco. I'm really happy to have you here. And first of all, let me thank you for your daily commitment on this topic, because we know that for you it's a mission in your life to work for this topic. And so my questions to you will be, first of all, to introduce to us the work of the Cooperativa Foco. That I tell this for all the audience, it's based in Sicily, which is a strategic island for the migration flows. And it's in the middle of Mediterranean and has a long history of peoples moving and yes, from Arabs, Normans, Greeks, etc. No, in the history, and then after that, they will tell us more, as I mentioned before, about the definition of migrant, refugee, and asylum seeker, etc. on one side, and then the specific work they're doing with minor age people in the cooperative of work. Okay. So Noemi and Alessandro, the floor is yours, and for Russell, please send their presentation. Thank you very much and welcome.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be part of this webinar. So I just start with a little presentation of Cooperative Foco. We work for sustainable community development and individual empowerment, guided by an ethical code aligned with the principles of the United Nations Charter and the spirit of the economy of communion that I think that most of you know. And let's the next slide, please. Thank you. So, as Marco said, our cooperative is a no-profit social cooperative established in 2012 in Sicily, aligns its status with the principle outlined in the United Nations Charter and adheres to the spirit enunciated by the principle of civil economy. And so the cooperative aims to contribute to the promotion of universal brotherhood through the pursuit of social rights, subsidiarity, and solidarity. We are based in Sicily, but we have also other projects in other Italian regions. and we have started also in other countries. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay. So we focus on various key activities, including the reception project for asylum seekers, refugees, and unaccompanied foreign minors. And we provide also professional training programs and engages in social planning activities. Additionally, also we offer business incubator services to encourage the establishment of the new entrepreneurial initiatives, most for vulnerable peoples, for example, migrant or new young people that arrived here in Italy when they are minors. Yes, next slide. Okay, so we have educational services, Italian literacies, linguistic and cultural mediation, and social and legal assistance to the communities for minors, and side project that is the Italian reception system. We have most of all projects for unaccompanied foreign minors in Rogliano, that is a little town near Cosenza in Calabria, also in Mazzara del Vallo, Petrosino, and Chiaramonte Gulfi, based in Sicily. We have also a first reception project for unaccompanied foreign minors in Cosenza. It started this year. And we have also a community that welcome Ukrainian, the project Chiara Lubik, and also some projects that are focused on give services to migrant people. For example, the Educational Rural Hub in the transformed area of Ragusa, but also TRAP, that is a project for young people that have a problem with justice. Just to counteraction of marginality, violence, and juvenile deviance phenomena. Next slide. Okay. We work a lot, me, for example, and Alessandro, we are in the project area design. So we work a lot with social design and search for regional, national, and European funding opportunities, and writing of related projects, research and creation of partnership networks, and management and administrative reporting activities for projects. This is are the most funding opportunities that we work for, Fondazione Con il Sud, Erasmus+. We have also, we give the possibility to make the social service as volunteer in our project, and also some regions in Italy. Next slide. Okay. As I say, we have also incubation and business development area enterprises. 3 business incubators are being consolidated in Ragusa, Trapani, and Cosenza. For the target group is minors, unaccompanied, and new young people that came here in Italy when they were in minor age. Next slide. Okay, this is a new section of our work, is the co-development project. We do, so we have training, employment support, and entrepreneurial activities creation for young Tunisians and forced migrants. The PLACE program is a program that promote exchange and lasting cooperation among civil society organizations in Turkey and European Union. And the Progetto Maria Teresa Iliano for combating the phenomenon of school dropout among talented girls and boys facing economic hardships in the Gambia. This project is born because over the years FOCO has welcomed and socially integrated young migrants and refugees from various countries, particularly Senegal and Gambia and West Africa, where poverty poses significant challenges. So FOCO believes that those who have successfully integrated into the local workforce are contributing to the development and well-being of the Bland lands. And we want to do also something for people that are based in Gambia and Senegal. So we are starting give to them scholarship for young people that are based in Gambia. Next slide. Okay, so I finish and I pass the floor to Alessandro for the focus of the migrant in Italy and the analysis of some words related to migrants.
Hello, everybody. Hope you hear me well. I'm Alessandro Brullo. I've been lucky enough to live in some of your country of origin. I've been living 1 year and a half in Lebanon and spent a few years in former Yugoslavia. And so I have been also in Bosnia. I collaborated with the Sutjeska National Park, if you know. Been also in Republika Srpska, in Banja Luka, and so many memories currently. I'd rather prefer to be in Zoe 84 skiing in this moment than here. I don't know if you have any snow at the moment, because here in southern Italy there is none. Anyway, I want you to reflect upon the way we use some words. As Marco was saying, we often use a lot of words. We may not know the exact definition of them. And the way we use the word, or the way we understand the word that we use, it's a mirror of the way we understand the reality. And the meaning of the word often is not something that belongs to us, but is a shared knowledge among the society. So the way in the public discourse, in the public speech, are used some words make the difference if you are talking against, pro, if you are positive, if you are negative, and often we are not fully aware of the real meaning of the words and the meaning that he has acquired in the public discourse. So if we can get to the next slide, please. There are so many definitions and so many words to describe people that is traveling, that is moving in the world, that is changing this place. And I would like to reflect with you. So if we can go to the next slide. So I would like to hear you speak out. So I will show no mercy. And basically, if you don't speak, I will call your name to ask directly. And so if some of you is not really timid and want to avoid timid people to be called by me, it's better he speaks immediately. And I want to start quite soon, I mean, very nice, with the word race that we have here inside. Who among you want to say what the race means and how you use usually? What is it, race?
Yes, I'm Tony. Yes, for me, apolid is very strange.
He's still there. It's not an English word. It's a bad translation we had for stateless person.
I understand. I understand what does it mean. I just want to share that to imagine that someone doesn't have a country, home country, is really yes. You are keeping someone something from his own, and you is not of this world. There is no land where he is part of. Is he or she?
Can you imagine someone that is stateless? What condition and how it comes that is stateless?
I know with condition someone is stateless. Yes.
There are, for example, I met one boy that their parents were from two different countries. I can recall it from Africa. I think it was Nigerian and Ghana, the parents. They emigrated in Guinea-Bissau, had this boy. Then, for various reasons, they abandoned the boy that he was 8 years old. He was born in Guinea. He was speaking the local Creole language, and he left. So Guinea, when he was that age, about 10, traveled Africa, then stayed quite a few years in Libya, and then moved to Italy, taking a boat, an illegal boat. So he actually was stateless because he was not belonging to any of his parents' country of origin that he never visited. He had some connection with Guinea-Bissau, but was from his early age. In Libya, he developed, he stayed a few years, but was not his country. There are many people that are actually, in fact, stateless. It's not just a problem of not having the passport of that state. Then there is also this. There's people that have spent all their life in a certain country, but being their parents not from that countries and being them without document to stay legal in that country, he has no more the citizenship of the country of origin of their parents or his parents, and never had the citizenship of the country he was born on. And that may be the case for Syrians in Lebanon currently. For sure, there are many children born in Lebanon and that are totally undocumented, for example. We want to say something about race. What is it, race?
Race.
I will call on you, huh? Russell. Are you with us? Or Luisa Rodriguez? Nobody want to talk. Do you think race, please?
Can I?
Please, absolutely.
Yes. So what I think about race, it's like something I want to share something I recently read in a work by Anna Arendt, if I'm right. And that is the concept of race is just like a social construct, and like it doesn't have a biological meaning actually. So yeah, I believe at this point that it's just a construct that we like, not we, but humanity has introduced to justify some kind of actions like genocide, just to mention the most outrageous one.
Yes, very interesting. So The race, the different race among people is a social construct and is, in my opinion, also perceptive bias. We tend to consider people that looks alike us as belonging to our same group. It's not like this. In Africa, there is the most vast diversity in genetic patrimony among people. You have the tallest people of the world in Africa, and you have the shortest people of the world. So how can you think that African people belong to a race? You see, it's just a tone of the skin that makes us to think, but I may be much closer to a person with a very black skin from very far away in Africa than from my neighbor, if we consider the whole genetic patrimony of mine. You see, so the aspect of the skin color and eye color is just a very tiny part of the genetic patrimony of each of us. Then I want to ask you, what is the difference then with the ethnic group, ethnicity? What is it? What is the difference between ethnic group and race? Anyone want to answer? I want to add another word to this: nationality versus citizenship. Anyone from Bosnia want to say something about this? About nationality and citizenship? Because I think if there are some Catholic from Bosnia, do you consider yourself a national from Republika Srpska? Bosnia is not participating at all in this discussion, I'm afraid. We use ethnic groups, in my opinion, as a euphemistic term to say race. We do not consider race a word that can be used in the public speech. So to say the same, absolutely the same thing, we say ethnic group. The ethnic group is something related also to culture and language, but the phenotypical component is not dividable from the cultural. If a Japanese boy, very young, is adopted by an Igbo family in Nigeria, after 20 years, you can say that this Japanese, originally Japanese boy is ethnically Igbo, even if he got all the culture from the new adopted family. You cannot say. So when you say ethnic groups, you always refer to the race. We will then prefer to use the word nationality. That is different from citizenship, because citizenship is related to having a passport from a certain country, but nationality is related to the culture and language, and does not include your physical aspect. So you can say that the Japanese boy is actually now a national Nigerian because he speaks the language, he knows the culture, he behaves like the others in Nigeria. He's a national of Nigeria, regardless of his physical aspect, that you cannot put away when you talk about ethnic groups. We have some other words here. No difference between refugee and asylum seeker?
I'm gonna step up on this one if I can, because I'm writing my thesis on it and I get very excited about, not excited of course, but it's a very interesting matter from a legal point of view. So like refugee, it's someone that it's recognized by UNHCR or other agencies and the government itself as compelling the grounds of the Geneva Convention on the refugee status, that are someone is a refugee when is persecuted by on the ground of race, religion, and nationality once again, or
Maybe sex,
membership to
orientation.
exactly, or membership to a particular social group, while asylum seeker is a refugee again, but that has not been declared to be one. So that is merely speaking waiting for a recognition. But yeah, it is very essential to understand that the refugee status is just declaratory. Like one is a refugee even before it gets recognition. It's just a merely formal additional step. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm wrong.
When a person has been recognized by an institution that is a national or transnational institution as a refugee after his case has been deepened and has gotten a document saying he's a refugee, then he's a refugee on the proper terms. If he's asking to be recognized as a refugee, he's still an asylum seeker. So what is the difference with an illegal migrant?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
What is it, the difference between an asylum seeker and an illegal migrant?
It might be the same thing. It depends.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because an illegal migrant is someone that is crossing the border without permission.
Yeah.
So all the people in future may be recognized as refugees, or refugees have been at a certain point an illegal migrant.
Yes, but also that's something very interesting. It is that like under the Geneva Convention once again, there's a provision stating that the non-penalization of refugees, because when one is seeking asylum in a third state, like authorities theoretically, but of course this never happens, shouldn't be able to penalize him in any way through arrest, detention, or deportation. So of course they should give them the opportunity to apply for the refugee status first. But as we know, it doesn't happen often.
So that means that when you are crossing illegal a country, the border of a country, if you ask for asylum, you cannot be deported. Is that right? And your case must be considered.
Yes.
Exactly.
But sometimes they don't even let you ask for shelter. They just deport you for, I don't know.
Do you think that a person that may have no problems of persecution asks asylum just to not be deported?
Yes, it might happen.
It happens daily.
Yeah, of course.
So what is the difference between an illegal migrant and an economic migrant? There is no difference.
The economic migrant could have got economic migrant as It's interesting. No, because of economic is just the one who already got a visa to get in the country.
Maybe. If we consider if we restrict the area of economic migrants to the people that already got a visa to get in the country, but if I'm crossing illegally the border because I was not working in my own country, or I think I may be paid more in Italy than I was in this case, I'm an illegal migrant, and I'm also economic migrant, and most probably I'm an asylum seeker, because it's the only way to stay in Italy for a while and not being deported immediately. So it's not, I mean, when we use the words, it's not easy to really categorize a person under the, it's easier with the point of refugee, because if we stick to the definition of refugees as people that has gotten a document as such. You see. Anyone want to say something about the difference between displaced people and asylum seekers?
The person apoloid is not moving from another part of the world. It's already in the state where he's asking, where he's moving. So it's not someone moving from.
Yes.
Or probably is also coming from I don't know. It's difficult if he's coming from another part of the world without nationality. It's I don't know how they can. It's someone like someone without any place in the world, actually.
Yes. In Italy, the stateless person may try to be recognized as such, so that the state recognize its condition of stateless person, and if that is done, then he will be protected by the Italian law and will be given a passport and a permit of stay as a stateless person, and after he can acquire the citizenship, the Italian citizenship. But this process is very difficult, very complicated, very long, needs lawyers. So even people that could apply to be recognized as a stateless person usually don't, and they just ask asylum and try to speak to the commission that will that is appointed to recognize or not the asylum of his condition, and try to get a refugee status. So because it's much easier than to try to go to the court to be recognized as a stateless appointed person. So you see, the appointed may be in the same time an illegal migrant, an economic migrant, because maybe is looking for a better life. In fact, all of migrants are often also economic migrants, and he can be an asylum seeker and eventually a refugee person. Have you ever thought about the difference between foreign minors and unaccompanied foreign minors? This is a very important difference. Usually the foreign minors has his own parents with him that are foreigner as well. The unaccompanied minor is an underage person that is alone, without parents or without adults that are in charge of him within the country. So we have in Italy foreigner minors and unaccompanied foreigner minors. Anyone knows the difference between visa and permit of stay?
Might be related to the extension or the duration of the...
May. Not always. The visa may be longer of the permit of stay in some cases.
Okay.
The visa is a paper that is attached to the passport that allows you to enter legally a country and to stay for a certain period. The permit of stay is something that you get usually after you enter the country with a visa, and then you ask a permit to that country to live in that country also for a certain period and for a certain reason. An illegal migrant usually is a person that has no visa, no permit of stay. An asylum seeker is a person that asked for asylum and he had no visa to enter the country, but has a permit of stay after his request for asylum. He got an asylum seeker permit of stay that has the duration necessary for the state to inquire his case and decide if to give him the permit of stay as refugee or not. So those are legal issues, but are very important on the life of people. One thing that we often face as educators are our other entity that works with foreigner people, with minors, or our colleagues that tend to under-evaluate this aspect. So we have a minor, a foreigner minor that is still without document. The police has not given him. Nobody has explained how he can get papers in Italy to stay for the rest of his life, or how will be his future with documents. And sometimes he meets some educators that knows nothing about these things and start making him doing activities that are nice, good, play football, why don't you go to school, why don't... He is very concerned about his documents. And the person say, oh no, this, don't worry, let's go play football. And maybe the boy becomes violent with this person because he has accumulated so much frustration, and there's in front of him someone that want to play football and is asking him to play football, and he has a big, enormous issue. I don't know if I can stay here, if they will deport me, you see. So it's a very common misunderstanding between educators and foreigner people that are in often in a very unstable situation because they are still undocumented in the country. Anyway, I want you, for the sake of the next topic, to focus just on few of the words we went through. And so if we can see the next slide. That are basically those: asylum seekers, refugee person, displaced person, unaccompanied, the difference between visa and residence permit, economic migrant, and the possibility to get a long permit. If we can go next to the slide, next again. So the asylum seeker is a person that has fled his country and is seeking protection from another country. Okay, we have a lot of people that have fled from Syria and are currently in Lebanon. Some of them are there since years now. They are not asylum seekers. They are not asylum seekers because Lebanon do not give refugee status to anyone coming from Syria. This is comprehensible because Lebanon is a small country, has already refugees from Palestine since very long ago, and they do not want their population to change radically, giving documents to the Syrians that may ask for it. So they blocked it. It means that these are displaced persons that fled their countries that want for sure are seeking international protection in Lebanon. Lebanon is not giving this right because of internal problem, and so they are not even asylum seekers, legally speaking. If you want to go next, economic migrant, please next. We discussed is an individual that crossed the border primarily for purpose of seeking better opportunities. In Italy, there has been a long discussion in the last years. Oh, we will receive just asylum seekers and refugees, not economic migrants. This is completely out of reality because anybody actually is looking for better economic opportunities, and you do not know until you do not go deep in their case. And so, and also, what is wrong with if you are poor, or even if you are not poor, you have food enough, but you see that in your country you will never develop following your own capacity because of your condition. You come from a village, you didn't go to school, the country is not offering economic opportunities for you. Why not to emigrate in another country? We are receiving a lot of young boys from Egypt in Italy. Most of them actually are not fleeing any real persecution. They are actually looking to for a better life in Europe. It's very complicated. You see, it's very complicated to have a moral stance on this point. Should we differentiate and give more opportunities to people that are actually fleeing from a war, an open war, or they are fleeing from personal persecution for certain issues? Yes or not?
That's an interesting question because it's a matter of space, no? Usually the politicians use this topic, no? That we don't have enough space to host everyone, so we should define some criteria, I think.
Yeah.
But just Alessandro, just reminder about the timing because I think
Yes, I know. Yes,
you're quite
I'm
late.
aware that I'm going too long. Next, next slide. So refugee person, we went through this. So is a person who has been forced, but has received the document here. It's not written to be a refugee. Next, please. Displaced person. Next. Is a person that has been forced. So we have also internal displaced people that left his home from a certain region to be moved in another region of the same country. This is very common also in Syria and in so many countries. Yes, the unaccompanied foreign minor, please next. Is an underage person that is in a country that is not his own, without a supervision of legal guardian or adult. Please next. Visa, we said, it's a document that allows you to enter the country, and the residence permit, yes, please, is the document issued by the government that allows you to live in that country. So next one. The long stay permit is typical European permit of stay that you get after a few years you live in the country. basically in Italy it works like this. After 5 years, you are legally with any permit of stay. So 5 years of residence with any permit of stay, you can apply for a long stay permit that will allow you to stay 10 years basically in Italy and to also move in other European countries. Please, next. And yes, do you have any question about things that we discussed until now?
No, just one quickly, if you can answer, if asylum seekers they get permit of stay in Italy, they could go with no problem in other Schengen states?
Absolutely not. Until you are you enter Italy, you immediately say, I'm looking for asylum. So you cannot be deported. You are put in a usually asylum seekers call them camp, let's say in a reception center, where you wait for your case to be inquired by a commission. During this period, you receive a permit of stay as asylum seekers that under some condition allows you to work, to go to school, but not to move from Italy. If you move from Italy, you will lose the right to ask asylum even in future to Italy.
Okay, thanks.
So you cannot go back, you cannot, and if you have a passport with you, it will be taken by the police until your case is not solved.
Clear.
Any other question? If you don't have question, we can pass directly, jump to the next topic. And the next slide also, please. That is the integration paths of unaccompanied foreign minors. Please, next. So, we talked a lot about the difference between singular people that enter illegal a country or foreigners that are residing in a country. The minors are protected under a special convention that was signed in 89, and many countries have undersigned this convention, including Italy. So if you are a minor, and if you are in Italy or in any country that has signed the convention, regardless of the fact that you are a foreigner and have no document for that country, must be protected as any other minor in the country. And in particular, all minors under the Convention of New York have a right to survival, to protection, to participation. This is very interesting. And what we are doing is to consider any minors not as a foreigner, but as a minor. This is the main stance we are taking in our job. We are receiving a lot in Italy of minors. They are coming basically from Africa after a period of staying in Libya or Tunisia. Used to be more Libya, now it's Tunisia. So the road they are taking is from Western Africa, cross the desert, go to Libya or Tunisia, and then wait there for the opportunity to take a boat to enter illegally Italy. So they are possibly illegal migrants, they are possibly displaced persons, they are possibly asylum seekers in Italy. Since the law under the Convention of New York particularly protect minors, we do consider them minors. And so we ask for them exclusively the permit of stay as a minor. The next slide, yes. In fact, a minor could ask may ask asylum in Italy. And he may get even permit of stay as an asylum seeker. What we do is to get them the residence permit as a minor. Then if he wants to ask for asylum, he can do it, but without asking the permit of stay as an asylum seeker, because the permit as a minor protect him more, and basically put him in line with all other minors in Italy, the same rights exactly as he was Italian. And above all, he has not to demonstrate that he's fleeing because of persecution or because of war or because of any other reason. Once he gets to 18 years old, he can stay still in Italy working without any justification from past persecution, differently from the asylum seekers that has to demonstrate that has been persecuted in his own country.
Just
That,
working or also studying?
You can work or study. Even if you study, you can continue to stay in Italy. I will say a couple of things. I know I'm short with time. I do understand minors that are risking their life to come in Italy, even if they were not persecuted in their own country. I was talking recently, well, not that recently, with a colleague working in Albania that with Caritas was trying to develop a project to support some villages in northern Albania to minimize the phenomenon of children living, of underage boys leaving that area of Albania to reach Italy and try to stay in Italy. No? And actually, while we were talking with this colleague, Alessandro, he was asking me for some advice. We actually said, but why in the end we should try not to come in Italy? I mean, you are from, we know very well these villages in northern Albania. You are far from everything. You don't have any economic opportunity in your life. There is just an elementary school and you cannot really complete your study being there. The rest of Albania despise you because you are a person from that mountain, so you are ignorant, you are poor, and if you go to Tirana, people will treat you like a dog because it's very difficult for them to find work, I mean, to continue. So if you get in Italy as a minor, you will be schooled, and most probably you will be integrated in the labor market. I know it's paradoxical and morally questionable, but I do understand children leaving their country to reach Italy because that may change their life. Anyway, our position as FOCO is not to judge about this. We just received the minor, is an underage person, he has certain right. We do go for the residence permit as a minor. And the next slide, please. And we start working, treating him as a minor. What we do always, the instruments that we use, the tool, is we develop together with the minor himself or herself, usually are boys for obvious reason, because you are doing a very dangerous journey to reach Italy, so it's more common that boys do. We do with each of them an individual education plan that we discuss directly with the minors. This since we said that under the New York Convention for the Rights of Minors, the minors have right to express their opinion and to basically take in their own hands their life. And that's why we do always discuss and write down very transparently with the minor what is the individual education plan. You want to go to school, which school you want to go, what thing you have to change in your life, what skills you have to acquire. Many reception center that works with minor do neglect this aspect. So they observe the minor, say what he needs, write down, and then start to work to change this minor and making him acquire all the skills that in their vision they need, this minor need. We never do this. We always discuss with the minor directly what he think, because that may create it's a very complicated issue that we are not going to discuss today, but it's something related to power. In fact, you may have all the good intention toward a person that you want to give aid, you want to help, but your position of aid giver gives you a power over this person, and often is you to decide for his life. You know, you are exerting power very violently on that person. And if that does not comply with your ideas or what he should become, then he's not a good person, he's not adhering to your educative plan and blah, blah, blah. We always discuss the education plan with the minors, even if they are very young. Next slide, please. This just I will treat rapidly. This is an opportunity from the Italian legislation. Once you get the permit of stay as minor, you reach 18, you should transform your permit of stay in a working permit of stay if you find work, or in a study permit of stay if you are continuing your studies. But the Italian law gives also this opportunity of prosieguo amministrativo that I don't know how to translate exactly in English. That is something like prolonging your minor state or your minor. It means that it's the tribunals for minors, the special tribunal court that is in Italy, will give you the possibility to be considered as a minor, just from the point of view of the opportunity to stay in a reception center to receive some services, up to the age of 21 years old. This is very important, because if you arrived in Italy, you were 17, you started school, 18 is too early to get a job, you know. So this is a very good opportunity to have this timing prolonged to your 21st year in order to accomplish, maybe your school, or to improve to get a job or something. So next, please, we finish. So any question about all this thing we touched very quickly, if you have?
No, just some information about how many minors are you taking care right now in Foco, and the nationalities.
Yes, we have in our reception center, we have let me think, maybe 120, 130 in total. The nationalities, we have many people from Western Africa, meaning Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria, Guinea, that part of Africa. Many people from Tunisia and Egypt. Many people from Bangladesh also. So you see, it's a very different country, and there are very different journey to get in Italy. We do not know, it changes. So for a long period, we do not have had people from Gambia. Now we had a lot. We have a lot. There are a lot of Egyptian in a certain period. They were really present, in a certain period not. It's not clear why the flux of people from certain countries varies so much. I do think it depends mostly in the opportunities given by local mafia to cross Mediterranean and reach Italy. But there are no studies that explains this variability in the flux, so we actually do not know why we have at a certain point we are full of people from Bangladesh, and then for 2 years no more. It's something that should be inquired better.
It's a good topic for the thesis of Sara. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Alessandro and Noemi.
Thank you
It
for
was
the
really
opportunity.
very interesting, and we have recorded everything. I think we could make a lecture for all the students in schools for this definition, especially, which is really complicated, and how sometimes definition have an implication, strong implication in life of people, no? From the legal point of view. Okay, so now to conclude, we have Sara here. So you have already seen her, and she has been our participant of this HeARTmony project. So I would ask her 2 questions. First of all, why she has decided to join this initiative, and the second one, what she has learned through this. No? So Sara.
Yes. Okay. Good morning. My name is Sara, and I am 24. Almost finished with my master degree on human rights at the University of Padua. And I have decided to engage in this project because of its unicity, I would say. Indeed, HeARTmony unites various fields I am really passionate about, that are music and art in general, with a focus on human rights, vulnerabilities, and therefore multicultural dialogue. And also considering what I study, I was very happy to have the opportunity to develop a concrete idea of what a refugee camp is, merely speaking. And of course, what are the risks of the migration process? Yeah, in this regard, I believe we have learned a lot thanks to this experience, also regarding the main roads affecting the Balkans. And yeah, what I have learned more specifically, I have been enthusiast of the project's aims since the very first time I got to know about it. And I must say, it was a very enriching experience that allowed me to change my mindset completely. And yeah, it was just incredible how much I got to learn from it. Especially, I would say that while engaging in dialogue with vulnerable individuals, I could finally develop an awareness on the intersectional dimension of privilege, and on what being privileged means, and therefore the connected violations of the right to seek asylum in another state. So yeah, I mean, with intersectional, I was meaning the fact that vulnerabilities can really develop on various levels, on multiple levels, in the sense that one can be discriminated on the basis of nationality, as you were saying, cultural membership, or color of the skin. And the HeARTmony Project really allowed me to strengthen my awareness in this sense, thanks to also this open and informal dialogue that also allowed refugees to feel seen in a world that unfortunately often forgets about them. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Sara. And so now to conclude, I ask Russell if you can please show the video without audio, the video of the workshop they made in Rome last April. this young participant to the HeARTmony Project. And then in the meanwhile, while there is the video, I will read some lines that Paola sent, another participant. Unfortunately, she's ill today, so she couldn't join, but she has sent some lines. So she said, I decided to take a part in HeARTmony Project because I really like the concept of helping others through art, and I thought it was a unique opportunity to do so. I was sure it would have been an amazing experience, and it was absolutely outstanding, well beyond my expectations. I will never ever forget the people I met, which were involved in this project. We shared so much, they will be forever in my heart. During my time spent in Bosnia, I discovered a word I was unaware of. I learned and discovered so much. I found myself back there. I saw myself how every action, even the smallest one, can mean a lot to others and can do a lot to change things, as we know. I discovered how lightness can be found in the hearts of people where it is least expected, and how gratitude is contagious. Speaking about the organization of the workshop, I'm aware now that you never stop learning and perfection is unnecessary. You can try to take care of every small detail, chasing perfection, but the unexpected is just around the corner every time. That's how life goes. You can always find a solution to the unexpected if everyone come together and look for it. So this is what Paola was saying. And yes, these are some images of the video we made last April. And the next session, we are organizing another workshop in Italy on the 12th and 13th February in Florence. So we will send you then a video about this workshop we are doing. And just to conclude, the last thing is the next appointment. So Russell, if you can send. So we have fixed today the date. So right away we use this webinar for the promotion. So the next session will take place Thursday, 15th February, again this time. And the title would be the migration flows in Lebanon, that also Alessandro introduced a little bit today, but we will hear directly from our friend of Caritas Lebanon and Humanité Nouvelle what is going on over there. And so to conclude, thank you everyone for joining us, and keep updated about the project in our website, social media, etc. And thanks again to Noemi and Alessandro for their professional contribution. And we will use these educational resources of the webinar for all the participants for in this educational tool kit that we will create through the HeARTmony project. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and let's meet on the 15th February for the next session. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.